Okay, so here is going to be a tutorial on how to make a cherry mini album. And this one I made for my swap that I'm hosting on Instagram. And I thought, why not make another one and do a tutorial on how I made it? Because this turned out so cute and I absolutely love how it turned out. So I'm using two different digital collections from Etsy. This is the one I'm using for my swap that I am hosting, and I'm going to use a different one for the one that we're going to make in the tutorial. I use stickles on this bow, and then for the one that we're going to do together, I thought I would just use a printed paper from the digital collection. You're going to need, if you're going to make this, you're going to need the Kscrafts cherry die mini album. I don't think it actually has the name. No. That's weird. It doesn't even have like the tag in the back. Huh. Usually Kscrafts has the tags, but I guess I got one that didn't this time. So you're going to need your paper of choice. I am going to use a digital from Etsy, so I have to print it. I have an Epson EcoTank printer, and I use the 80-pound cardstock from Hobby Lobby. This is the Paper Studio brand, and I'm going to use 2 sheets per page. So I'm going to do a front, so because it's only printed on one side. I could do double-sided, but because I want to hide the hinge inside the paper, so we're going to cut it out this way, put the hinge, and then we're going to put another page on this side. So the hinge is inside each page, and this makes it extra sturdy, extra thick, so you can put photos, pockets, embellishments, whatever you would like on your album. Or you're going to need a hinge, and this comes from, it's also Kscrafts hinge kit, so you get different sizes. And for this one, I use the 3, and I like how it looks. You could, however, do the 2 and like not do this top one up here, but I just think that like if you were to use this one, it would only go if you wanted to just do it like that. But I like it with the 3, and then you have extra stability. So you're going to need your paper of choice. You can use cardstock that's already printed, or printed cardstock. Your die, 2 die sets. And then you're also going to need some acetate to cut out for the what do you call it, the shaker part. You're going to need some craft foam. I am using a red and a pink, and I believe this is only the 2mm. So we're going to cut it out 3 times for the cherries, and then I'm just using the pink to do the bow at the top and give it some dimension. And then if you want to decorate your acetate, I do not remember where I got this from. It was either Temu or Amazon. So it's a pack of faces, and I put, if you want to put the faces. So I use this one with the tongue and this one with the winky face for this one. So we have the winky face here, and then the one with the tongue over here. And then this is what you get in the pack. So they're all the exact same. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them all the same. And that's what you get in each set. I'll see if I can find it, link it below. And then I will link the digitals that I use in this for you if you want to use the same digital. I am going to also use some, it's like an iridescent paper. So it's like a shimmer, I guess, not iridescent, shimmer. It's a shimmer white, which I'm going to use for the hinges. And then this is a shimmer pink. I may, however, use shimmer pink on this one. All right, so here are some pages that I printed from my printer. This one, however, I am going to use this for the bow. I'm going to cut the bow out in this section of the paper, just because I want it to have a little bit of a contrast and not a solid color. And this looks really pretty, and it goes with all the colors in the collection, so that's what I'm using for the bow. Then I've printed out all the ones that I thought would look good as a page for the album. You can use these for journals, albums, whatever you want. And these are all the ones that I have printed. So I just thought I would come on and show you what they look like all printed up. And then I will go cut them. And I will be right back. Okay, I have all of my projects cut and ready to go. And I forgot to mention that you're going to need solid color cardstock for your cherry if you decide to do this. You can also use a pattern paper, but I just thought that the cherry would look great as a cherry. You could do glitter cardstock. You don't even have to do it the shaker way. You could just do the cherry and call that good. But I wanted to do it this way. So I have all my patterns cut out, and I'm going to glue these together back to back, like I said, with the hinge on the inside. And after playing with this, I've decided that it's going to look best because I cut this stitched section out in this shimmer pink color. So I think the hinge is going to look best with pink. I've tried it both ways, and I think, like, for the cover, the white looks good, but I think with all the other pages, the pink is going to look best. So I just kind of like matched it up, and I'm going to go with pink. I've cut out 10 pink because I'm going to glue these back to back like this to give it extra stability, extra strength, and then so that the stitched part around the hole is going to be visual on this side. So just like that. And then I kind of ran out of this paper because I decided to cut the stitched background out. So I only had enough to do this, but I think it's still going to work because if I glue this on to make it double thick, then this part you won't even see because it's going to be tucked inside the paper like that. So you won't even see where it's missing a section, but yet this is still going to be double secure for your rings. So this little edge that I cut right here is not going to like really match up, but that's fine. It's not going to be seen, and this is where I wanted the double part anyway. So what's this? The holes. That way I don't have to put a brad, or not a brad, eyelet in there and give it extra security because it already has the extra security. I hope that's making sense to everyone. So I have all my pattern papers. I got all my red foam cherries are cut. I have to pop them out, and I cut these 3 times to give 6mm depth to put. And I also forgot to mention you need your shaker mix, and I'm just using a red and a white sequin mix that I put together. And then these little beady things are like a base filler. Now I have to clean all that up. Jeez. Okay, I just made a huge mess. So you're going to need your shaker mix if you decide you're going to make the shaker. I have that cut out. I have the pink cut out. Now it does not really go with the color that I used for this, but it's going to be underneath, and I basically just want this for shape because it's going to give dimension to the bow propped up on the paper like this. So I'm going to glue all this together, and then I also cut out a section of the foam because when I put this on, so this is going to be down, then this is going to be glued on, and then I'm going to put the bow on top. But see, it's raised up now because it's on top of here, and it's going to go down. And so to fix that, I cut an extra piece to set behind there. Not all the way across. So this is the piece that I cut. So I just kind of kept this section off. I hope this is making sense. So where did I put my scraps? Okay, I think these are where I cut them. Yes. So I had like this, and when I lined it up and I cut it off, like this was like that. And then this piece was over here, and I cut out like that. I hope that is making sense to you guys, because that's the only way I can describe it. So this was my piece of scrap foam that I had. And then I just lined it up and cut it like that. So this section here is where the tail is going to go. I hope that is clear and everybody understands. I didn't want to take the camera over to the die cutting machine just for this part. And then for the cherries, I did not cut that completely through either. So I was running low on the red because I needed the this section. I just lost my die. Okay, so I needed enough red so that I could put this on here, and I didn't want to cut this in red, so I just kind of cut the top off and it's missing. But I did that with the green because I'm going to glue this on here. So there is an indentation, and I don't know if you can see it on here. I'm going to try to show it. There's an indentation right here where the stem goes. So I'm going to cut that, and I don't know if you can see it on here, but I'm going to cut that with a pair of scissors and cut this part of the cherry off. So I will glue the cherry stem about right there and then cut the rest of that off. So this is not going to be red. Which I will do that on camera, and you will see everything that I'm talking about and explain as I'm going. I'm going to take a break, clean this mess up, and then I will be right back. Okay, so now that I have my mess cleaned up, oh, I missed some. Okay, I'm just going to push that out of the way. Put my mat back. Okay. So we're going to start first by gluing together. Oh, and I'm going to show you how I cut out the bow. So I did the top, the middle, and then the bottom. And I did it in that direction so that when I layer this, it kind of is still in the same shade and sequence on the paper. So it's kind of darker up here, and then it goes to lighter. And then I just kind of cut this at the top because it's going to go like that. So with that said, let's glue this together and get this going. All you need to do for this is glue the paper directly to the foam piece that you have cut out. And I am just using Aleene's tacky glue. So you're going to glue onto your foam to give yourself that extra dimension. Like I said, the paper doesn't really match the foam, but you're not really going to see it anyway. And I didn't want to use like an orange or a red, so we're sticking with the pink. And this is the only shade pink I have. So these are for the sides once we get the bow assembled. So I'm going to set those aside, and I'm just going to glue these two together, how they go. And I have not had any issues with this glue and my project's coming apart. Okay, and then we're going to set these aside to dry. I'm going to glue all the pieces together on the bow, set it aside, let it dry. Then we are going to glue all the pieces for the hinges together and let them dry. So set them aside and let them dry. And then I'm thinking I'm going to ink all of my pages, because on the one that I had made for my swap, I did not ink. And you can kind of see where when I put them together, they're a little offset. And if you ink them, it's going to kind of hide that flaw, if that makes sense. So then I want to put these on the back over here. So like I said, this is going to go like that, and then this is going to go right underneath. And then it's going to make it the same height when I glue it down on the paper. So that's, I might have to cut this one a little bit that way. Just a snip. And then I will glue that on here, glue that there, glue this on here, and see, I'm also going to have to snip this one a little bit too, which is easy. I mean, just a snip. So you're going to glue like that. I'm going to have to cut that down. So I'm trying to do this so that you can see what I'm doing on camera. All right, so we're going to glue this onto here. We're just going to put a dab of glue, and then we're going to set it on here, because this is how we want it to go on here, like this. And then we want this to go on here. Like that. So it's all just eyeballing it, and then once you get it like on here how you want your tail to go and your bow on the top, once you get this positioned how you think it should go, let that dry. And then when you go to assemble it, it's going to all go together perfectly. So this is going to need to be trimmed a little bit more. I don't want to take too much off, but enough, like there's going to be a gap there, and that's okay. This is still going to brace it up enough to where, yeah, that's perfect. So even though there's a gap there, it's perfect, because now this is the same as this, the same height. And we're just going to glue these on. I hope that I'm explaining this well enough, or you can at least see what I'm doing, so that if you want to create this, it's easy and you can understand it. And then this right here. And there we have it. My bow is ready to be adhered down once it is dry. And now it will set perfectly on my project. I just want to make sure that the foam is not showing like offset underneath. Yeah, just like that. And then you set it right on top of there. Ta-da! And then this will get glued on here, and then the center, just like that. All right, so now I'm going to glue these together. So we're going to do the back and the back, so that the front is facing and the front is facing. So I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to do the rest off camera so that you guys are not bored watching me glue. I'm just going to go all the way around the edges, a little bit in between the circles, because you don't want them to come apart you know, after flipping through, looking at your photos or writing in your journal or whatever you're going to use this for, you want to make sure that it's adhered fairly well. And like I said, the bottom half is going to be tucked into the pages so that you're not going to see that. So that is how you glue your page hinges together. It gives it extra stability, extra strength. All right, so I am now with the last one glued down, ready to go, and I now have 5 hinges. So when you're cutting these out, you need to cut 10 total if you're making a 5-page album. You can make your albums as many pages as you want. I just like to use 5. I think that's a good number, and you can fill it and it's still cute as can be. All right, so then I'm going to set those aside. I now have my foam for my cherries, and what I like to do so that I don't stretch and pull these is take these out first and keep the insides in so it keeps its shape, because you can like pull it and then it just doesn't hold its shape when you go to glue it and you're a little wonky. So what I'd like to do with these is, I gotta clean off all this extra like paper stuff from my die cutting machine because I need to clean it and I haven't done that yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my regular Elaine's tacky glue, and I'm going to do a bead of glue all the way around and glue all 3 together. And then once I get them all glued and they're somewhat dry, and you have to be careful because you're going to get glue on this part, and when you go to take it off, it's going to stick a little bit, but it still seems to work for me. So I'm going to glue all these together, stack them, let them dry. So once you get one dried or one glued, then you're going to stack the other one right on top and let that dry. Now you can do just 2, but I like 3 because I just feel like it gives more room for your shaker mix to get moved around. And then I'm going to do this again and do the top one. And it's probably better to use like a not a piping bottle, it's the Sugar Bell bottle, one of these, because you get a smaller bead of glue. This is faster because it comes out faster, and I don't have to put as much effort into squeezing my tiny little bottle. And they seem to plug up on me a lot, so. All right, and now we're going to put this one on top and just set those aside and dry for a little bit before I try to take the centers out. Okay. And you can see kind of how thick it's going to be, and this glue will dry a clear color. So there's that, okay? And then when you assemble your cherry, you're going to, all right, so you're going to cut out where the indentation marks are. Go straight down, curve it, do another curve. And it's okay if it's not perfect. I just want to get it as close as possible, because once you put your shaker on or your outline part, it covers it up. And then I'm going to glue this, and I was going to cut this red piece off, but I think I'm just going to use it to like glue all this down. And this is going to go underneath the bow, so you won't see that. So I'm going to just glue along here. And this is what I did with the other one. I cut it completely out and then I just glued my green part on top. And you can make these without the album if you just want an embellishment, a shaker embellishment. Okay. And then once you put this on your project and you put this down, it's going to cover the bottom part of the green. And now for the acetate, which I also cut out. Acetate, you're going to cut this out also the same die that you did this cherry piece in. So you're going to, I got it right here. So you're going to cut it out, and I don't need the stem because the stem is not going to be the shaker part. So I'm going to cut these off once I get this glued down. So I just lined it up and cut it like right there. And then that's the same die that I used to make the stem. I just didn't do the bottom half. So you can see on my paper, when I put this on, I just cut enough to where the stem is going to cut and not the cherries. Okay, and then for the acetate, you have like a film that you're supposed to peel off. And it's easiest for me to do it where the stem is. So that way if I scratch the acetate, it's only going to be scratched where I'm cutting it off anyway. And once you peel this off and throw that away, then you're going to glue your cherries to the front. So I'm going to use my smaller bottle. Hopefully it's not plugged up on me today. But that way I can have a smaller bead of glue and it doesn't make as much of a mess. The easiest way I have found to do on top of the acetate is to set this down once you get your glue where you want it. And this is the same glue. This is the Lean's Tacky Glue. You can use art glitter glue also. So now, once you get that done, you're going to set this down first. It starts to curl, it's fine. And then I put my thumb right there, so I need to add some more glue. Just to make sure that it adheres and doesn't come apart on the person who receives this. Okay. Now I'm comfortable with that. And then I'm going to take my acetate and I'm going to set it down, lining it up. And then you want to smush it and make sure that that glue will grab in that section. And this, if you set it this way and do it upside down, you can see where your glue is getting smushed and attached to your acetate. If you do it the other way, you really can't see if your glue is getting on there right. And then once you have it all smushed and it looks good to you, you just set it aside and let this dry. And then you'll come back and cut the stems off. And while that is drying, this should be ready to go on my project. So we're going to start assembling this part. I'm going to attach this first. I'm going to glue this down. And then once you have this all glued, give it a second to grab and attach. All right, so now, okay, now we're going to attach the bow. And this should be fairly easy because everything is pretty much already attached. And you just have to glue the back side of the bow. Sometimes I'm a little heavy-handed with the glue, but sometimes you want to be heavy-handed because then you know that your project is not going to fall apart. So now I'm going to set this on there. I'm going to line it up, eyeballing to make sure I'm in the center of the stitches. There we go. So now that that is attached, we'll let that dry. Well, that is drying. And this is pretty easy as well. You just do the same thing. Okay, and then you're going to set this down. Supposed to go. I think maybe the bottom is supposed to be bigger. Yeah. So it's a little bit wider at the bottom and then a little bit more narrow at the top. It's really, really very unnoticeable, but my perfectionism, I'm just being goofy, I guess. And then we're going to set that there and let that dry. And now with the foam, I want to show you how this looks compared to the other one that I did. And not put that foam underneath, and so it's like raised up on this part right here. It's like it is on here, and then on the back side I pushed it down to the paper, so it kind of goes downward. So now on this, it has that extra piece of foam right there to give it the same height. So you see that. I hope that's visual enough for you. And then there's like a little gap there with nothing, but that's okay. And then we are ready to start on the shaker part, because now this is pretty much not coming apart. So now we need to pick these out. There's 1, 2, and 3. And see, they came out fairly easy. So you just grab it and pull it out. Oops. It's coming off right here. It didn't cut all the way. Oh. See, that happens sometimes, but because it's still holding its shape, it comes off and you can reshape it back on there. I don't want this stretched out and then being too big and too wide on one side. It's not fully cut. My die cut machine didn't fully cut it right here. Dang it. We are back in business. I straightened it out. It's a little stretched, but not too bad. Just tuck that back in there. Wiggle it around. There we go. And then we're going to, let's make sure it lines up with this. Yeah, it'll work. You see how that is like that? Hold on one second. Okay, so apparently it's lunchtime and I have to go make lunch. I was having fun. Okay, so that's how that's gonna go. And then I will let this dry and go make lunch and come back and finish up with you guys. Okay, so I'm back. I got lunch. I decided what color I'm going to use for my what do you call it, shading, inking the edges. So now that this is dry, these are dry, we're going to set this, put this together, set it aside, and then where is my scissors? I just had them and now I can't find them. Oh. So for this, now that it is dry, and you can see that it adhered all the way around and it's not going to come up. I'm going to cut this off, and you can see on here where it was scratched when I took that film off. And that's why I like to leave that on before I take the film off and before I cut, so that when I do peel that foam off, it's getting cut off anyway, and you never see that. All right, so now I am going to glue this down first, and my paper is starting to bow up a little bit, so there we go. So I'm going to glue this down first. All right, and then get that on there. All right, so there is the cherry. It is all ready to go. We are going to fill it, even though this is not dry. That's fine, because we're not going to shake it, and it's not going to get moved, and everything is going to be a-okay. I'm going to move this up just so I don't have to mess with it once I get these in there, because I'm going to ink these while this is drying. All right, so we're going to glue this next after we put our shaker mixes in. And like I said, I just did a red and a white shaker mix. I put a spoonful. You don't want too much of it in there, but you want enough so that it looks nice, you know, even when you're not shaking it. Spread it out so it's not like super high pile when you go to put this acetate on there. I think we're going to do a little bit more in here. All right, and now before we do the acetate on here, I'm going to decide, do I want to do the face or not? You know what? I think I'm going to. I think maybe this one and this one looks cute. So we could do these on there. Or should I do the... Which one do I like better? Yeah, I like these two better. Again, this is just preference. You don't have to do any faces. I've got them. I might as well use them, right? And then I think I'm going to put those on there just like that. And the best way for me to do this is to peel it off. Sometimes it comes off together. Sometimes it does not. Okay. Oh, come on, stay together. Okay. Because, yeah. And then you're going to set it down. Try to put it how you want it to go on your cherry. And then I just peel this piece back off. And then it's proportioned the right way. Like your eyes aren't too close together and your mouth is not too far apart. You know, it's all proportioned pretty well together. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Again, this, you want to try to peel it off together if you can. No, 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 no. It's stuck to my finger. Okay. So we're going to do it this way, I think. So then you rub that down, the mouth, and the other eye. Peel this off. And there you go. Because this is a clear backing, it looks perfect on there. It looks so cute now. And then I'm going to glue that on there just like that. Yep. So I don't know why they get staticky like that. And I've used dryer sheets to help with the static, but it really doesn't help. So it's one of those things that you just have to put it down and wait for it to dry. And it will work out in the end. So now I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to glue around the outside. I should have used my Sugar Bell bottle. Okay. Just about dropped it doing this. But again, you want to make sure that you have enough adhesive so that it doesn't come apart. You don't want to lose all the shaker bits when you go to shake it. And then what I do, and I do this every single time I make a shaker, and it does not matter what size, what shape, anything. I will put this down, line it up. The glue underneath that you can see right here is going to dry clear. You're not going to see that when it is dry. And now that this is down, you don't want it to bow up. You want it to be flat. So I take this, which is my Sizzix metal cutting thingy. I don't even know what it's called. And I'm just going to lay it down on there and wait for it to dry. So the best thing to do is to do this where you can work somewhere else, or like set this where you're not working so that it can dry. And it only takes a few minutes to dry. So we're going to set that there, and then while that is drying, I am going to ink my pages. And what I'm going to do to ink my pages, how I checked my inks, so I have Festive Berries, Candied Apple, and then Lumberjack Plaid. And what I did is I took a scrap paper that I cut off when I was doing my cutouts, because these are all the pattern papers. So I did Festive Berries first, then I did the Candied Apple, and then I did the Lumberjack Plaid. So you can, this color here, the Festive Berries, looks nice, but it's kind of a brighter red. The Candied Apple kind of has like an orange hue to it. And then the Lumberjack Plaid I thought was best because it kind of goes with this darker red, and then the cherries. So that is what I'm going to ink all my pages with. Even the ones that are kind of like this orange tone. So I'm going to ink all of this stuff up. You can, I'll ink one and then I will pause and you guys can, I'm going to put these two away and just go with the Lumberjack Plaid. And I'm going to ink one on camera and then I will stop, ink the rest, and then be back. That way you're not bored watching me do all this. And all I'm doing is just going around and inking it up and giving it just a little added interest. So this part is the tricky part, is getting in the corners. And I don't want too much on there, I just kind of want around the edges to do there. So okay, so there's the inked one, and then here's the not inked one. And then when I glue it together, see, I didn't ink these, and when I glued them, like right here, you can kind of see the white from the other side. If I ink this, it's too late to ink now because I won't be able to ink right here. But all right, so I have all my pages inked and ready to assemble. This has been sitting on here now for about 10 minutes, so it is dry enough that I can remove it and have more of a workstation. And I'm going to set this over on my other table. Now you just have to figure out which patterns and what you want to go where. I think I'm going to do this one on the cover, and this will be the last page. And then these will be the in-between pages. All right, so decide how and where we're going to put these in here, like that. I think that's the best place for it, and that's how it is on my other one. So I'm going to eyeball it, see where I want to put it. I think that looks good. So then I'm going to glue this section here about halfway up the bow and around to this little round part. And that should be enough to attach so that this is in between the bottom two holes. Just like that. So that is where I'm going to attach it on my cover. Let this dry. And then we're going to match up the front and the back part of the cover page. So now I need to glue around the edges. I don't want to go too much throughout the whole project, just enough to get it to stick. And then I want to do along here, and we're going to do right here and up on here so that it attaches on here on the back side of your what do you call that thing? Okay, this is the hardest part, is to line this up. But if you're using wet glue, you have a chance to push and turn and twist and get it to go as evenly as you can. And then that's why I inked it, because now if I have missed any spots like this, I can just, if I can't like push it and turn it, yeah, because now it's like pretty much stuck there and I can't get it to move. Now I can just use my ink and kind of repair it or camouflage it. Yeah, I wish I could have moved that better, but I can't. So once you get it to dry, you don't want to ink it while it's wet, so let this dry. Okay, so page 1 is done. Next is page 2. What I like to do here is line this up on here, just so that it's in the exact same spot. And then I'm going to glue on here, because I know about where it goes, just like that. And then I'm going to line this up. Press it down. And I don't want to press too much because I don't want the glue to get on this page. So we're just going to put this on here like this. Let that dry. And then when I'm ready to assemble this, I moved it a little bit, so I want to make sure that it's lined up right. Okay, so I gotta turn like that. Okay. So then I need to set this aside and let it dry, and now I can do the back side of this. And then I'm going to glue around, and we're just going to use this as our template for all the other pages. This halfway up and down. So just like that. And then, oh, I almost forgot, I gotta attach it in the middle a little bit. Just a bit, not a lot. Then once I get this all attached, line it up. Get this. Okay, so now the back cover is done. And there is that page. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest, and I will be back in just a second. Okay, so I have all of my pages glued together, front and back. They are inked and they are ready to go. And then we have, this is going to be the back page. And then I have these. And what I wanted to do was break this up so that I didn't have lines or stripes on both sides. And then I don't want this one and this one together because it's too white. So I'm going to do this one, and it's a stripe and a white. And then we have this one, and this one, then this one, and this one. So I'm going to add my rings to this now. This is the way that I want it to go. And once I get this in here, then we're going to put trim, and I have a bundle of trim to put. Okay. So I probably should have put these on the back side. Yeah, I'm going to spin them so that the hinge is on the back, like so. So now all the hinges are on the back of the album. And then we're going to finish this off by placing this on the front of the cover. Just look, it's so cute already. I love it. All right. And then we're just going to add some glue. And then once you get it all, your glue all over, you want to go close to the edge as possible. And you just eyeball it, line it up, and place it on the top. Oh, this looks so cute. Okay, I need to make sure I'm getting this lined up the best way that I can. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, so now to pick the trim, and I kind of want to do like I did on my other one. So on this one, I did pink on one, green on another, and then this red. So I cannot find my seam binding. I have like really like purple, yellow, pinks for like spring, but I can't find my red and pink. And anyways, so I have some green stuff here that I'm playing with right now. So I want to do one of them in pink, one in green, and one in red. And I think I'm going to go, I don't have tulle other than this for the green, but I think this is still going to look really cute. And I want to put that in the middle. So I'm going to do this one. I have all these like just little pieces that I have been gifted or I take off of like packages and stuff that I get, and I just save them for this reason. All right, so we're gonna do the tulle first. I'm going to tie it on. Yeah, and then we're going to put the rest on after. So then we're going to do this eyelash trim. Okay, and then we're going to do this viney trim. And then I have this one, and then this one. And then I will trim this down about to this length. There. I'm liking how that's looking already. So I have a red. We're going to do the red tulle. And we're going to tie that one on. Then we have a pink. Where's my pink tulle? Here's the pink tulle. Put that on the top. We're gonna do this like fuzzy trim. Okay, this is not wanting to knot very well. There we go. And then we're gonna do this one. I really like how this looks. Pull that tight. Then, so what I'm going to do now that I have all these greens, I'm going to put a dab of glue. So I'm going to turn my hot glue gun on and put a dab of glue so that it like holds and it doesn't come off. Because you don't want all your trims falling off when you're flipping through your album. And then I'm going to do, let's see, I think I want to, so we're going to do both of these. Okay. Oh, this is looking so pretty. And then I think I want to do this one. Yeah, this is pretty. Okay. And then I'm going to snip that off about the same as the green. That's perfect. Okay, and all right, so we're gonna definitely do some red. See, I save all of this. Like if it came tied on something, I just keep it. All right, we have this. Oh, and I want to try this. I have a little bit of this left. I think this is so pretty. So I want to put this on here, about that far. And I want to do the red and the white. Like that. Then I have this that I saved. Then I have this. It's white and not red, but I think that it's going to look cute just as a contrasting color because I have the white gingham, or red and white. It's kind of like a gingham, I guess. I don't know what it is. See, this was tied to something and now I can't get this knot out. So now I'm going to tie this on here. And then I have this. Do you want to add that? I feel like I need the seam binding. Okay, this is the same as this, right? Yeah. And then we're going to snip all this off. I'm going to take the lighter pink off. It's just not doing it for me. I'm going to take that one off. And then, do I have enough green? This is all I have left for the green. I think so. This is going to be long enough. It might be. Yeah, this will be long enough. Perfect. Oops. All right. So there's my trim. On my, I gotta trim the red, I think, a little more because it's too long. There we go. Now it's pretty. And I might change the red to the top. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And put the pink at the bottom. Just because we have red and red, and I think I want to change it. Looking cute. There we go. There is the album. How cute would this be if you were to have a cherry sweet birthday party and you had all your birthday pictures? You could put pictures in here, you know, you could put 1 or 2 in here. Obviously this one needs to be like cut down or whatever, but you could, like, I don't know, if you cut like a section out, like say I cut this out in a circle and put one here, put a circle here. Oh, how cute would that be? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just opened the knot big enough so that I can show you how I'm going to make this so that it doesn't unknot and come off. Because if you're flipping through and opening up your album to journal, add photos, whatever you're going to use your journal, your album for, you want to make sure that your trims are staying. So I opened up the knot just a tad. I'm going to stick my glue gun down in there and just put a dot of glue in there. And then I'm going to pull on it. Got it too close to the edge. There we go. And now it's going to stay stuck as a knot. And if you want to keep your ribbons from fraying and go that extra step, then you just take a lighter and you burn your ends. Okay, so now to keep this from fraying, and you can kind of see where it's white and red is starting to fray right there. You just take your lighter and do a quick across the bottom. Ooh, I didn't like how that looked. It just kind of burns the end, and you don't want to, like this, if you go too far, it's going to singe it and make it look black and yucky. You just go right across super fast. It seals it. It melts it together so that you don't have that raw edge able to fray for the red. And now I'm going to go and do the rest of these, and once I get these all done, I will be right back. Okay, I am now officially finished with this. So on the green one, the only one that I used the lighter for was this very front one. I did the ends so that it wouldn't fray on this one. And then for the pink, I only did this one because I don't think these are going to matter much if they fray. And I don't think they will anyway. So here is the album. We have the cute little faces on there, and it shakes really well. Love that sound. And you can see how the sequins in there just move smoothly. And then, and that's because we did this with the 3 layers of the 2mm foam. And then the insides. Just love how this looks. You could use this for journaling. You could take a piece of printed paper and just like, I don't have a printed paper, but say you wanted to use a page, you could tear and, you know, have like one of those torn things, shade the edge, and then just like, well, let's just do it. We'll just do a generic style of what I'm talking about, and then you'll get the gist of it. So you would tear it nice and neat, ink around it, and then you could do your journaling, put your photo, whatever you want to do. So if you're interested in purchasing this, I'm going to sell this for $20 plus shipping. I will send through Pirate Ship and get the best bang for your buck for your shipping on this. Yeah, $20 plus shipping, PayPal, friends and family. Message me if you are interested in purchasing it. Thanks for watching. I hope I inspired you, or you just had fun watching me craft. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.